Hi guys, I'm Shmi, and in today's video I'm going to answer a question. A yes or no question, but we're going to do it the long way around because never ever before have I seen so many people asking the same thing in such a short time, especially one, the answer to which is just yes or no. And that is, did I receive an allocation for the new Ford GT? The GT is a pretty exciting car. It is spectacular in every way. The way it looks, the way it performs, it's even a Le Mans race winner. The race car version of the car went out and won at the 2016 GTE Pro Class. So I've been quite excited about this, and as you know, I submitted an application for an allocation back when the process opened in April of this year. Ford didn't tell us much since then, but I have some news now. I received an email, I woke up to an email that started with the words, "Dear Tim." My heart started racing. I didn't know what this was going to be. You've probably seen the format of the email already, many people posting it out on social media. Well, my email said, yes, I got an allocation for a GT and I am so excited about it. This car is going to be mega. Literally, I was running around the room like a crazy, I don't even know, like a kid at Christmas, because I put in my first request for a Ford GT when I saw it at the global launch in Detroit about 18 months ago. It's been a huge story following that car the whole way through, reading everything about it, and I can't believe how lucky I am to be one of the few who's going to be able to take you through the journey to receiving a Ford GT, the new third generation GT, the 50th anniversary celebration of that famous 1966 winning GT40 car. So this is going to be amazing, but for now, let's take a little recap through my story with the Ford GT. Let's rewind then back to late 2014 when Ford dropped me an invitation to come and join their press conference in Detroit at NIAS, the North American International Auto Show, one of the big, world's biggest motor shows, in January 2015, so 18 months ago from now. I flew out, went to the conference. We knew we were going to see some cool stuff like the new Ford Raptor and the Shelby GT350. What we didn't know was the little surprise that was going to come at the end. There were internet whispers and murmurs about a week before that Ford had been developing a new GT, but out it rolled on the stage, this new car, and I think pretty much the whole world just sat back and went, wow, what a breathtaking machine. They just rolled out of nowhere, center stage in Detroit. Now, when I got back home from the US, I actually went straight to my Ford dealership, who had no idea of the existence of the car, let alone how to place an order. At that time, obviously, it was way before any information was out there, so I didn't really know what to do, but sent emails to just about everybody I could because I had fallen in love with that car, the Ford GT. Desperately keen to make sure I could somehow get hold of one. So I've been following the story pretty closely the whole way since. And the next part of that was going to Le Mans in 2015. I stopped by the press conference there for the launch of the race car. This is when they set their ambitions and intentions for what was going to happen this year at the 2016 Le Mans, their return on their 50th anniversary. But I was sat front row, I'd got there ages before, I wanted to make sure I saw this thing as the covers came off the Ford GT race car. I then returned back to Le Mans this year, the 50th anniversary race of the 1-2-3 podium finish in 1966 with the GT40. I drove down in a Focus RS before I actually even had any intention to buy myself a Focus RS, but when I got there, I stumbled into the first production spec prototype of the new GT. I think the first one that had been shown in grey too. I pretty much raced straight to where it was to get a good look, because that car was going to be leading the parade in front of the race itself, the Ford parade with the GT40s and the new GT, and then a lineup of Mustangs and Focus RSs. But I got over there and I was just mesmerized by it, filming away, spending as much time as I could, taking it all in. And remember, at this point I'd submitted an application, didn't know any news. I was just sort of looking at it, hopeful, wishful eyes, but what a car it is to behold. Now that was to be a pretty historic weekend, as the Ford GT race car came in first place, victorious in the GTE Pro class, and it was just amazing watching Le Mans, watching the GT race cars in action. In typical London style, it has started raining, so I'm cowering in my car, but that's a perfect opportunity to talk a little bit more about the application process. It opened in mid-April, and they confirmed or committed to building 500 cars. Now, I believe they've had 6,500 applications, so 13 applications per available car. That's pretty high demand, and almost certainly those are pretty much all people who would, if given the opportunity, buy a Ford GT. So there was a criteria you had to sort of select from when you loaded the application form. It asked for current GT owners, current Ford owners, companies that run Ford fleets, or sort of founders or owners of companies using Ford fleets, suppliers to Ford, strategic alliances to Ford, companies supporting Ford charities, and then of relevance to me, they were looking for car collectors, digital influencers, and motorsport enthusiasts. So I think I very much come under the car collector category. I have a couple of cars now, the LT Spider, I've got the Aston GT8 on order, the AMG GTR, my Cayman GT4, FF, the Classic Mini, and now my Focus RS2. So I'm building a sort of varied and interesting garage. I'm looking for sort of cars that are spectacular driving machines, and you see, as you know, I go out and drive my cars, and I'll come back to that a little bit shortly, more further through too. Then comes the digital influencer. Ford had said they wanted people who were going to, all the stories were being written, that Ford want people who are going to share the experience and take their cars to events and use them properly and show them. And I think I'm pretty much the kind of definition of that. That's what I try and do. I try and take you guys along on this journey with my cars. You know, I've got, I think, just over 800,000 subscribers here on YouTube, 850,000 followers on Instagram, about 2.5 million followers on the Shmee150 Facebook page. And what I try and do is take you guys along on this story. So my intention now with the Ford GT, subject to what Ford are open to, is to do exactly that, to take you on the specification later this year. I don't obviously know when my build is going to be. It could be 6 months, it could be 2 years, but I'll be doing my best to share this entire story. The first time I get to drive one, all the way through to receiving the car at my home. I'm so excited at the prospect already, however far away that might be. Then we can move to motorsport enthusiasts. I've got a race license. I'm trying to get involved in more things. I go to loads of races, Formula One Grand Prix, Le Mans, and Nürburgring 24, all this kind of stuff. So I try and get involved, and obviously I love doing it and love driving, and I want to do way more motorsport. So I ticked a couple of boxes, filled in my forms for those, and I guess it turns out I did the right thing. I also shot a little application video, which would be a really weird one to show here, but it's a combination of some of the things I've just shown and said. I talked about my connection to the story, going to Detroit, Le Mans both years, well, Le Mans this year, sorry, last year, because this year hadn't happened yet, and about collecting my cars, sharing them, and using them, and I guess I did the right thing. I'm going to touch a little bit on my Focus RS, because I've seen tons of speculation that Ford have provided me with the car, or that I only bought it to secure a GT allocation. Well, I can actually tell you this was 100% my choice. I drove the car to Le Mans, I loved it, and I decided I wanted to buy one. In fact, Ford didn't even know I was going to buy one until I already had the car and posted it on the internet that you guys saw too. And one fun fact is it was actually only about 12 days from when I posted the car until we were announced the GT allocations, and I know the internal process had already decided who was going to get one. So I think that's completely independent. To me, it's much more about, well, think of the pairing, the Ford GT for brute performance and drama, the Focus RS for driving all the time. Ford Performance are nailing it right now. These are two brilliant cars, totally different, but each in their respective classes, I'm sure they are winners. With the GT, it's my intent to take you on this storyline, just like I have with some of my previous cars. And for the very first time, I'm able to take a look at my own McLaren 675 LT here just at the end of the production line. This is a truly, truly special moment. Hi Nick, how are you?
Hello, welcome.
Thank you very much.
Hi, nice to see you.
Pretty excited about today.
Yeah, it's a pretty amazing day, isn't it? Shall we?
Yeah, can we take a look?
Yes, we can. Do you want to get that side?
Sure.
Right, are you ready?
Yes.
Go.
Awesome. And there she is, the Eco Beast. 2.3 litre, 350 horsepower. I had so much fun driving in my RS, and well, in the RS I borrowed, and now I have one, and it just looks so good. Look at the colour, and wait until it's outside. Out she comes. Doesn't that look good? Amazing. And in front of me now is my new car, which I'm just seeing now for the first time with it as my car. Are you ready for this? This is the Shmini. British Racing Green with the silver stripes, silver roof, 1.3 litre engine, 62 horsepower, and wearing 87 TB. Off we go. You can place a pretty solid bet right now that it's going to be going on road trips and driving some amazing roads. It's what I always do. I love doing it and I love sharing it with you. And you know what? You'll probably find it's going to be going to a track day or two as well. I like to use these cars how they were built. The GT, it's a car with racing pedigree. It's going to be driving hard. Let's go back to some memories though. Yes! So I just did a 2:44. I set my target earlier today of 2:45, and I've done it 2:44. can probably tell I'm a little bit shell-shocked, but I am desperately looking forward to the Ford GT and finding out what happens next. I submitted my reply to the email immediately, and I think it says we have about 10 days before they let us know the next stages, which I will share on with you. Of course, a big congratulations to everybody I've seen out there who's got an allocation and will be expecting a car. Deadmau5, Amy McDonald, I've seen a few on social media as well, and of course, to anybody who didn't manage this time, Ford have sort of implied there might be a second round of allocations in the future if they decide to build more cars, and based on demand at the moment, it seems like that might be the way, so don't give up yet. Well, what can I say? A big thanks to all of you guys, because I know without you watching these videos, I wouldn't be about to be embarking down this adventure, and I am going to do everything I can to share it all with you, so make sure you're following on all the platforms. I'll try and share updates, we'll go through the spec, we'll go through the build, we'll get the car, and I'll try and take it to as many events as I can get it to, so you can see it, and I don't know, just sort of follow part of this whole story because it's so fantastically exciting. I've been following and I guess looking forward to getting this email for 18 months or so now, and I don't even know when the car's coming, but I couldn't be more excited about it. This is genuinely going to be a defining sort of supercar, I think, of the generation. I'm looking forward to finding out the final performance figures, looking forward to driving the thing and seeing what it's actually all about, but the things I do know and the things I've heard, this is going to be truly, truly mega. So, the long way around the question, yes, I have received an allocation for the new Ford GT, and it's probably the most excited I've ever been in my life about a car. More info as and when I've got it, but thanks again, everyone. I appreciate your support so much. That is it for now. It's just started raining again. I'll catch up with you again soon. Cheers.